It's spring, and I'm just a little bit obsessive compulsive. And one of the things I struggle with this time of year is all the natural light flowing into our house, and I can see everything that's wrong with it, all of the dust, all the dirt, all the fingerprints from the kids. And it's got me thinking about the fact, Bill, that it's listing season. And I know I'm not the only one having this experience, and some of you are thinking about selling your home. So I think we should dedicate some time to helping people understand how to prepare their homes to sell and get a maximum price.
That's right. So the first step really, I think it starts with decluttering the home. You can do this in advance of listing, or you can do it as soon as the first time you meet with us. But decluttering is definitely the first step. It mentally, when buyers come in, they're able to mentally envision themselves in the property easier with less clutter. It less perceived work that they're going to have to do on the home, and it just makes the home feel more spacious. So it actually can increase the feeling of the square footage there.
Yeah. I mean, when buyers are moving, they're imagining their dream home. And along with that, life is going to be easier, cleaner, neater. It's going to provide everything that they've been looking for that's not like the way we normally live in our homes. So, taking some steps to really get the home prepared is critical. What are some practical things sellers can do?
Yeah, so there's a ton of great YouTube videos out there of people that are actually experts in decluttering. So there's different processes you can take. There's put something in a box and store it away for 30 days, see if you still really want it. There
Mhm.
is I think the three different pile scenario, like the get rid of, the maybe, the keep. There's strategies like tackling one room at a time is a good one. I think that if you are going to say list your home in 2 weeks, maybe you start with, one or two of the bedrooms this weekend and you get one room at a time. It also gives us a feeling of accomplishment once you're done with that room.
One of the things that we use with our kids, and actually we did this ourselves before we had children, is when we decide that we're going to tackle a room, we set a time limit. We actually set an egg timer and we start putting things in boxes. And you have one area that's store away, another area that's keep, and another area that's donate or discard. And just sticking to that timeline tends to move things along a little bit faster. Another way we do that for our sellers is when we're having a listing appointment, we're talking about when do you want to go on the market? When does your home need to be prepared? We'll go ahead and establish the date that we're doing the photographs as the drop dead date. And then once you have that target identified, you just work like crazy towards it.
Yeah. So let's quickly talk like maybe your one uh, best tip or what has the most impact, especially sometimes people are short on time. They've got kids or they've got work, or maybe they're not even at the house, and a relative is sort of helping prepare the home for sale. So
Mhm.
what's sort of your one power move or one quick recommendation that you would give as far as how to go about tackling decluttering?
Well, um, as mentioned, setting the time limit, setting targets. But if you're focusing on one thing to make sure you accomplish, it's that, and it's relatively easy to do, is to make sure countertops, nightstands,
All the
coffee
flat
tables,
surfaces.
all of the flat surfaces have about a fifth of what you normally actually live with on your surfaces. So we always say it's like you're checking into a five-star hotel. And you'd be amazed at how well you can live without that canister of 17 different ladles and spatulas, but you can get along without it and it'll make your home pop a lot better too. And those things can be stored in storage boxes and just tucked in the corner of the garage. Or if you're moving and you already have a home picked out, go ahead and take it to your new place.
That goes right in line with what my number one tip would be, and that is take all of that stuff, take half of the stuff, maybe even two-thirds of the stuff in your house, and put them in boxes, put them in totes, and neatly store them in the garage. That includes probably half of the clothes in your closet.
Mhm.
So most of us, our closets are sort of jammed to the max, whether you got to walk in or not. But take half of that stuff, box it up anyway. If you are moving, it's going to get boxed up anyway. So box it up, store it in the garage, make everything in the house look bigger, brighter,
Mhm.
easy to get around and maneuver. It pays huge dividends, and that's something that is really, I mean, you could get boxes for free. It's really just a matter of spending some time dedicated to getting the house cleaned up a little bit.
Yes. I would add to that. Clients ask us all the time, do I need to clean out my cabinets and my closets? You're going to have some buyers that are going to look in your cabinets, especially if they're very serious about the home. You're going to have some buyers look in the closet. Same thing. What I tell people is just what Bill said, maybe remove about half of it. You don't necessarily have to vacuum out the crumbs in the silverware drawer. I wouldn't go that far. People understand you're living life. But a word of advice, it does depend on your price point. If you're an ultra luxury $5 million home, get somebody to organize your closets. I always say if your home's closet or pantry could be featured on the old, I'm going to date myself here, the old MTV show Cribs, then you want to clean it out. Otherwise, just nice, neat, maybe remove half of the items that are there.
Yeah. One final tip before we move on to the next one. It's a question we often get is what should I do with family photos and those kind of things?
Mhm.
If you have an entire wall covered with photos, 80 photos, 50 photos, or however many photos you have on top of your fireplace, your hearth there. Um, just reducing it. I think it's fine to still have a personal touch to the house. Saying, "Hey, this is a home, we live in it," or "This is a summer cottage, and here's a picture of the kids jumping off the dock." That is perfectly fine. Just shrink the number down to where it's, if it's a desk like this, it's only going to have one or two photos on it. So
Yeah. And I'd remove anything that's polarizing from a political standpoint, or maybe it's artwork that a different personality type than you could find offensive. I would remove anything that is going to alienate somebody just because they have a different value system from you.
if you want any other tips on how to prepare your home for sale, give us a call at the Winslow Group.